Good evening, everyone. I'm Nityanandam, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today, we are going to discuss in detail about cloud infrastructure in cloud environment. Cloud infrastructure is a term used to describe the components needed for cloud computing, which includes hardware, abstracted resources, storage, and network resources. In order to host services and applications in the cloud, you need cloud infrastructure. How cloud infrastructure works? A virtualization is to use to separate resources from physical hardware and pool them into clouds. Automation software and management tools allocate these resources and provision new environment so users can access what they need and when they need it. Virtualization is a concept. Visualization is a technology to create a virtual machine. To create a virtual machine, they install a special software on on-premises servers, then they can create a cloud concept. What's included in cloud infrastructure? Cloud infrastructure is made up of several components, each integrated with one another into a single architecture supporting business operations. A typical solution may be composed of hardware, visualization, storage, and networking components. All are combined together worked as a cloud infrastructure. So here I have listed some components involving in cloud infrastructure: hardware, virtualization, storage, and networks. We'll see one by one how these components are involving, components are playing a vital role in cloud infrastructure. First one, hardware. A cloud infrastructure in cloud network is made up of a variety of physical hardware that can be located at multiple geographical locations. The hardware includes network equipment like switches, routers, firewalls, load balancer, storage arrays, backup devices, and servers. Visualization connects these servers together, dividing and abstracting the resources to make them accessible to users. Second component is visualization. Visualization is not a hardware part, it is purely a technology. It is a technique. Visualization is a technique that separates IT services and IT functions from the hardware. A software called hypervisors installed on a top of physical hardware and abstract the machine's resources such as memory, computing power, and storage. So I here hypervisor plays a vital role in cloud environment. Once you installed this software on any hardware part in the server, you can make a cloud concept. You can make a visualization concept. Once these visualization resources are allocated into centralized pool, they are called as a cloud. Third component is storage. Within a single data center, data may be stored across many disks in a single storage array. Storage management ensures data is correctly being backed up, that outdated backups are removed regularly, and that data is indexed for retrieval in case any storage component fails. Visualization abstract storage space from hardware systems so that it can be accessed by the user as cloud storage. When the storage is turned into cloud resource, you can add, you can remove drives, you can repurpose hardware and respond to change without manually provisioning separate storage servers for every new initiatives. No need to add a physical manually, no need to do anything. Okay, you can add, you can remove drives, okay, repurpose hardware, okay, reconfigure it. Any new initiative, you can do anything. Fourth component is network. The network is composed of physical wires, switches, routers, and other equipments. Virtual networks are created on top of these physical resources. We already told you, once you install the visualization software on the hardware part, you can take a virtual component. You can take a virtual component. If you installed on wire, you can take a virtual wire. You can install on switches, you can take a virtual switches. You can install on routers, you can take a virtual router. A typical cloud network configuration is composed of multiple subnetworks, each with varying levels of visibility. The cloud permits the creation of virtual local area network and assigns static and dynamic addresses as needed for all the network resources. The cloud resources are delivered to users over a network, such as maybe the internet or maybe the intranet. So you can access cloud services or applications remotely on demand. Based on your requirement, based on your demand, you can access via internet or you can access via intranet. In virtual, they in cloud environment, they created virtual local area network for networking purpose. Okay, they are assigning static IP, they are assigning dynamic IP based on the demand, based on the person who is working on the environment. Next, we are going to discuss about architectural design of compute and storage clouds. Architectural design of compute and storage clouds. Under this architectural design of compute and storage clouds, we need to learn, we need to take first one generic cloud architecture, second one layered cloud architecture, fourth one visualization support and disaster recovery, at last architectural design challenges. First, we are taking generic cloud architecture. What is generic cloud architecture? What are the common things present in generic cloud architecture? In generic cloud architecture, the internet cloud is imagined as a massive cluster of servers. So cluster, you know already, a cluster means group of systems. It is a grouping concept. In a generic cloud architecture, in the cloud environment, internet cloud is imagined as a massive cluster of servers. Okay, internet contains all the servers in a worldwide. The different resources, the resources may be space, the resources may be data, the resources may be speed, that means memory, of the concerned servers are allocated as per demand dynamically. They are allocating these resources based on the demand, they are allocating dynamically. Based on the demand, not static, there is no fixed. Based on the demand, they are allocating dynamically. They want space, they want data, they want memory, they want any resources, they are allocating dynamically based on the demand. This diagram represents the generic cloud architecture. In this diagram, all the components are involving. For example, data centers. You know data center. What is data center? Data center means cloud service providers. The providers may be public provider, private provider, hybrid provider, any provider they may. Here, all the data centers are placed here. Here, clients. We are the clients. Okay, whoever are accessing, whoever as a ID, whoever is a valid user in cloud environment, they are placed here. Okay, they are placed here. Here services catalogs are there. Here security and performance monitoring things are here. Here resource provisioning, visualization, management and user interfaces are here. With the help of this provisioning, with the help of this virtualization, with the help of this management, with the help of these user interfaces, the client can communicate with the data center. Client can access the resources from the data centers. Client can deploy product, can test their applications via this provisioning, this visualization, this management, and these interfaces utilities. Okay, here service catalogs are here. This service catalogs contains what are all the available services, what are all the service providers for a client, for the client's demand. N number of brokers are there. They have displayed the best available service providers, not only service providers, based on your price, based on your demand, you can choose your the best services from the market. This service catalogs displays provides all the service available in the market all the service providers available in the market, what are all the price details, what are all the demand details, supply details. Okay, he is responsible, he is having full data, he is having full database for providers as well as services. Here security and performance monitoring. What about security? Here security plays a vital role. Okay, you are a client in a cloud environment. Security validate not only single validation, multi-factor validation it has done. It has done multiple multi-factor authentication. You are a valid user or you are an invalid user. Next, performance monitoring. Once your process is going on, this performance monitoring monitor the process. Okay, once it is completed or not, once the resources are is allocated or not, once the resources are allocated, it is working fine or not. If any advanced, if the process needs any added resources, it monitor everything. It's monitor everything. Then resource provisioning. Once you have chosen the service, this resource provisioning provision the resources from the data center. Then virtualization, you are already aware of this virtualization. Virtualization is a technique to take a virtual concept from a hardware, to separate, to abstract some concepts from hardware parts. That is called virtualization. Then management and user interfaces. All are here for communicating with the client and data centers. We'll see one by one. In a generic cloud architecture, they are using data coloring. Data coloring, like watermarking, it will protect shared data object and ensure the security level in the cloud. Like watermarking, they are using data coloring for protecting their data. They are protecting their data. These techniques safeguard multi-way authentication. These techniques safeguard multi-way authentication, enable single sign-on in the cloud. Okay, once you signed, you can use any application, you can use any device without username and password, and strengthen the security for accessing confidential data in both public and private clouds. In generic cloud architecture, the cloud platform demands distributed storage and different services like platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service. So this cloud platform demands distributed storage and different services. Based on your demand, you can choose platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service. Though the resources and services work in parallel. Resources and services work in parallel. The users need not know about real work behind the screen. As a cloud user, you don't worry about what is going behind the screen. Just you can avail the services. In generic cloud architecture, any software in the cloud is a service, and any service demands high amount of trust on the data retrieved from the cloud. The usage and the performance of granted resources are monitored and metered by the special units. You want any resources, okay. Once you chosen the resource, there is a SLA between you and provider. Once the agreement is over, you can avail the services. So once your service is started, the service should be monitored by service provider. At last, the price details will be generated, okay, by the special units. The software infrastructure of a cloud platform must automatically handle all the resources, grant and management. For example, you are a developer or you are a tester, you need some resources to develop, you need some resources to test, you need some resources to deploy your product or project, you need some resources. Okay, you are okay with some SLAs. After half of the process, you need extra resources to execute or to deploy or test. The service provider having a number of tools to monitor a process that will add automatically. No need to request, I need some extra resources to deploy, I need some extra resources to develop. No need to request manually. Automatically that provider monitor your process based on your performance, based on your requirements, that will provide additional resources to your process. The private clouds are easier to manage and the public clouds are easier to access. That is a single point word about the private cloud and public cloud. Private clouds are easier to manage, public clouds are easier to access. So generic cloud concept is over. Now we are going to discuss about layered cloud architecture. Layered cloud architecture is a second topic in this session. Layered cloud architecture. You already guessed the meaning in this title, layered cloud architecture. So there are some layers. In layered cloud architecture, have some layers. There are three layers involving in layered cloud architecture. First one is infrastructure layer, second one is platform layer, third one is application layer. There are three layers involving in layered cloud architecture. Okay, there are developed at three layers. One is infrastructure layer, platform layer, last one application layer. We'll see one by one and deeply. This diagram represents, this diagram represents the layered cloud architecture. Layered cloud architecture. Here, this in this part represent service providers. Okay, the providers may be public provider, the provider may be hybrid provider, the provider may be private provider. Okay, via internet, the consumer, the user can access the cloud environment. Here we have three layers. Okay, here we have three layers. In the bottom we have infrastructure layer. Okay, infrastructure layer, all the infrastructures, hardware, networking concept, all the infrastructures, okay, resides in this layer. Next layer is platform layer. Platform layer is connected with the infrastructure layer. Okay, at the bottom infrastructure is present. Next platform layer, at last application layer. Each and every layer directly connected with the physical and virtualized cloud resources. Infrastructure layer is connected with the platform layer. Platform layer is connected with the application layer. Application layer connected with the physical and virtualized cloud resources. All are directly connected, and via platform layer, infrastructure layer is connected. Via application layer, platform layer is connected with the virtualized cloud resources. We'll see one by one. Different virtualization standards are framed and utilized in all these layers to provision the resources allocated for cloud. For example, we have three layers: infrastructure layer, platform layer, at last application layer. In all the layers, different visualization standards are there. Different frames are there. Different utilization tools are there. In all the layers, different visualization standards are there, different frames are there, different utilization tools are there for provision the resources allocated for a cloud. The services offered to private and hybrid through different networking support over the internet or via intranet. You already aware of this. First one, infrastructure layer. In infrastructure layer is deployed first to support the infrastructure as a service. Okay, infrastructure layer is deployed first to support infrastructure as a service. You know the service, three kinds of service: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, then application as a service, software as a service. This infrastructure layer mainly deployed for infrastructure as a services. It also serves as a foundation for the platform as a service layer services, because it is a bottom layer. It is immediately connected with the platform as a service layer. So it supports, this infrastructure layer supports platform as a layer services. The infrastructure layer is built with virtualized compute, storage and network resources. This layer contains everything. This layer contains every part of the cloud environment. Virtualized compute, virtualized storage and virtualized network resources. All the virtualized parts it has. A proper utilization of these resources provides the flexibility demanded by the users. Provides the flexibility demanded by the users. The visualization demands the automated provisioning of the resources and minimum management time. Okay, this demands this automated provisioning of the resources and minimum management time. Second layer is platform layer. It is second layer middle layer in the layered cloud architecture. Platform layer itself is a foundation for software as a service layer services because it is immediately connected to application layer. It supports software as a service layer or application layer services. The proper environment is provided for the development, testing, deployment and monitoring the usage of applications. You are already aware of this. Platform as a service mainly for develop a project, deploy your project and test your product. Test your product or project. This layer also used for development purpose, testing purpose and deployment purpose. Once the product or project is deployed and the process will be monitored by this layer. Indirectly, a virtualized cloud platform, this virtualized cloud platform act as a system middleware between infrastructure and the application layer of the cloud because platform layer placed in between infrastructure layer and application layer. So unfortunately or fortunately, it act as a system middleware in layered cloud architecture. Last layer is application layer. In this application layer is formed with a collection of different modules of the all the softwares that are needed for software as a service applications. The general service applications include those of information retrieval, document processing and authentication services. It is mainly for information retrieval, storing, retrieving, organizing data, document processing and authentication services. So once you want to logged in or logged off means it should be authenticated. You should be authenticated with the help of this layer, application layer, because application layer is placed in front of users, consumers. This layer also used in large scale by the CRMs, financial transactions and supply chain management. This layer mainly used in large scale by the CRMs, financial transactions and supply chain management. Note, in general, software as a service demands most work from provider. Platform as a service in the middle and infrastructure service demands the least. Okay, so application layer, that is software as a service, demands in the most from the provider, then platform as a service, at last infrastructure as a service. So that is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy. In top, software as a service, then platform as a service, at last infrastructure as a service. Software as a service deal with the provider, platform as a service in the middle, infrastructure as a service deal with the infrastructures. Next, we are going to discuss about market-oriented architecture. Market-oriented architecture. There is a meaning in that. So it is mainly for business. Okay, business people. Traditional architecture is there. Market-oriented architecture is there. There is a difference between traditional architecture and market-oriented architecture. Market-oriented architecture, cloud architecture. To achieve quality of service, good quality of service, the providers cannot deploy traditional system-centric resource management architecture. The providers cannot deploy traditional cloud architecture because for better quality of service, for achieve better quality of service, providers cannot deploy traditional cloud architecture. Instead of traditional cloud architecture, market-oriented resource management is necessary to regulate the supply and demand of cloud resources to achieve market equilibrium between supply and demand. So based on the demand, based on the supply, we need to migrate, we need to update. That's why the providers not deploying traditional cloud architecture, they are deploying market oriented cloud architecture because they need to achieve good quality of service. Okay, based on the supply demand, they need to migrate, they need to update. In a market oriented architecture, there are several entities are involving in market oriented architecture. First one is users or brokers, second one is SLA resource allocation, third one is virtual machine, at last physical machines. There are four entities: user or brokers, SLA, that is service level agreements. Okay, you want to become a cloud user, or you need a cloud platform for your company. We need to we need to do some agreements, that is software service level agreements, resource allocation. Next one is virtual machines, at last physical machines. There are four elements involving in market oriented architecture. We'll see one by one. This diagram represents the market oriented architecture. In this market oriented architecture, there are four elements: users or brokers, SLA resource allocator, virtual machines, at last physical machines. These are all the physical machine. That means what? On premises machines. Okay, these are all virtual machines. Okay, these are all the virtual machines. Okay, here SLA resource allocators are there. Okay, yes sir, SLA resource allocators are there. Here users are there. Some users are real user, some users are brokers. Okay, clear? We'll see one by one. What is a resource? What is users? What are all the users are there? What are the brokers are there? What is SLA resource allocator? What are the components are there in SLA resource allocator? What about virtual machine? What about physical machine? We'll see one by one in deeply manner. First element is users or brokers. The users submit the service request from anywhere in the world to the data centers. Okay, the user may be a real user, the user may be a broker. A number of brokers are there in between provider and user. They helps to display a number of what are the services are available, what are the best providers are available in the market. They are helping users to choose the service, to choose the provider. Second element is SLA resource allocation. That is very important. It acts as a middleware. It acts as a middleman between user and provider. User and provider. For example, I want a service from cloud. Service from cloud. Before accessing the service, before accessing the resource, there is a agreement between me and provider. So SLA resource allocation doing that a great job between provider and me. It acts as the interface between the data center or cloud service provider and external user and broker. Okay, it is a middleman between provider and user or broker. It requires the interaction of the following mechanism to support SLA oriented resource management. First one, it consists of the following. First one, service request examiner and admission control. The first element in SLA resource allocation is service request examiner and admission control. Second one is pricing. Third one is accounting. Fourth one is virtual machine monitor. Fifth one is dispatcher. Last, sixth one is service request monitor. These are all the important element present in SLA resource allocation. We'll see one by one. First one, service request examiner and admission control. We already told you, user send the request to service provider. Yes, they want the resources, they want to access the resources, they want some applications, they have to send a request to provider. That request first come to this service request examiner and admission control for validation. A request, the service request is first submitted to service request examiner. You are the user, I am the user, we are requesting the services, we are sending the services to service provider. That request first come to this service request examiner for validation. For validation. This service request examiner interprets our request, the submitted request, before determining whether your request is accepted or rejected. It ensures that there is no overloading of resources. Which one? This service request examiner ensures There is no overloading of resources. For example, I need some memory space from cloud provider. I am asking cloud provider, a number of sources are there, a number of sources are there, a number of resources are working on process, a number of sources are in ideal state. As a user, I don't know. As a user, I don't know. This service request examiner confirm who are which are the resources are working, which are the resources are in ideal state. This ensures that there is a overloading of resources where many service requests cannot be fulfilled successfully due to the limited number of resources. It also needs a latest status information regarding resource availability and workload processing. Workload processing. This service request examiner get the information. What information? Resource availability from virtual machine monitor and workload processing from service request monitor mechanism. Resource availability from virtual machine monitor, workload processing from secure request monitor, service request monitor mechanisms. Then it assigns a request to virtual machines and determine resources entitlements for allocated virtual machines. Once the job is allocated to resources, that resources will be processed the job. Second element is pricing. That is very important. Pricing. The pricing mechanism decides how service requests are charged. Okay, I think we are talking about SLA, that is service level agreement. I want a request, I want some resources from provider. For that, I need to charge it. Okay, for that resource, for that access, for that service, I need to pay charge. So this pricing generate the price details based on the request, based on the demand they are charging. The pricing mechanism decides how service requests are charged. The service request can be charged based on submission time, based on pricing rates, based on availability of resources. The charge may be differ based on peak hour, they are charging more, non-peak hour, they are charging less. Pricing rates, okay, so in some resources pricing rates are fixed, some resources are variable based on the time, based on the availability they are charging. Some resources are fixed rate, some resources are variable rate. Availability of resources, some resources are demandable, that means what, most of the peoples are accessing, that means they are charging more. But no one is accessing, no one using that resources, means they are they are charging very low amount they are charging. Third element is accounting means what, they are collecting informations, they are auditing. The accounting mechanism maintains the actual usage of resources, actual usage of n number of resources are there. This accounting mechanism maintains the actual usage of what are the how these resources are available. Okay, what are the resources are available, what are the resources are ongoing, what are the resources are in ideal state, everything under control of this accounting by the request, so that the final cost can be computed and charged to users. The maintained historical usage of information can be utilized by the service request examiner and admission control to improve resource allocation decision based on your demand. The automatic tools allocate the resources automatically. No need to request manually. The tools are there. Automated tools are there. They are monitoring your process. They are monitoring your job based on your demand, based on your job requirements. It will allocate automatically. If suppose you ordered 5 servers, but currently you are using 3 servers only. Two servers are ideal. Ideal means they are not charging for the remaining 2 servers, they are charging only for the processing 3 servers. Fourth element is virtual machine monitor. The virtual machine monitor mechanism keeps track of the availability of the virtual machines and their resource entitlements. Fifth one is dispatcher. The dispatcher mechanism starts the execution of accepted service request on allocated virtual machines. The dispatcher mechanism starts the execution of accepted service request on the allocated virtual machines. Sixth one, service request monitor. The last element present in SLA resource allocation, service request monitor. The service request monitor mechanisms keeps track of the execution process of service request. So you are requesting service, your service is started. Once the service is started, this service request monitor the every all the process from starting to end. Service level SLA process is over. Now we are going to discuss about virtual machine. That is the third component in market oriented architecture. You know virtual machines. Multiple virtual machines can be started and stopped on demand on a single physical machine to meet accepted service request. Based on your service, based on your demand, based on your request, the virtual machines will be started, will be stopped. You want to stop, your process is over, virtual machines works will be over. You want to start, now only you are starting, virtual machines will be started to execute. The multiple virtual machines can be concurrently run applications based on different operating system environments on a single physical machines. Virtual machines are isolated from one another on the same physical machine. On the same physical machine, you can create a number of virtual machines, each and every one isolated from one another. So the one of the virtual machine not affecting, not interrupting other virtual machines in the same physical machine. Next one, quality of service factors. Quality of service factors. The data center comprises multiple computing servers that provide resources to meet service demands. Data center comprises multiple computing servers that provide resources to meet service demand based on the customer consumer demands. They need to meet the requirement. For that, they are adapting more servers in the data centers. There are critical quality of service parameters to consider in a service request, such as time, cost, reliability, and trust to security. So these are all the quality of service parameters. They should meet out these parameters. So because of these parameters, they included more, they offered more services to consumers. In particular, quality of service requirements cannot be static and may change over time due to be continuing changes in business operations and operating system. Yes, of course it is 100% true. Based on the demand, based on the requirement, this this will be changed. That okay, we can't fix this quality of service. Based on the time, based on the demand, based on the requirement, you have to change the quality of service metrics. The customers, since they pay to access the service in clouds, you are already aware of this. Whatever you want, you have to pay, you can get the service. Whatever you want, pay and get it. That's the concept of cloud environment. The SLA between participants and mechanisms for automatic allocation of resources to multiple competing requests. Commercial cloud supports customer driven service management based on customer profiles and requested service requirements. Commercial clouds defines computational risk management mechanism to identify, assess and manage risk. The cloud that encompass both customer driven service management and computational risk management to sustain SLA oriented resource allocations. Customer driven service management purely for providing services. Computational risk management, it deals with this risk happening in cloud environment. So to sustain SLA oriented resource allocation, so we need to provide good quality of service. The system incorporates autonomic resource management models that effectively self-manage changes in service requirements to satisfy both new service demand and existing service obligations. Summary, I think in this session we have covered maximum of cloud infrastructure. So introduction to cloud infrastructure, we have seen a generic cloud architecture, what are the how client can communicate, what all the services are there, what are the catalogs are there, how security can provide the security on provider and client side. So we have seen everything in cloud generic cloud architecture. Then layered cloud architecture, there are three layers are there: application layer, platform layer, at last infrastructure layer. We have seen how infrastructure layer can support platform as a service layer, how platform as a service layer can support application layer, what all the things are there in infrastructure layer and the platform layer and application layer, how these three layers are supporting in cloud environment we have seen. Then market oriented cloud architecture, why they implemented market oriented cloud architecture for achieving good quality of service. They they have used market oriented cloud architecture um, instead of traditional cloud architecture. At last we have seen quality of service factors. For achieving good quality of service, they need to do both in the client side as well as provider side. I think you all got a clear picture about cloud infrastructure. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much.